You ever dream about being untouchable? Like, so powerful that no one could ever tell you no again? Yeah, they did too. Only difference is they got it. And it destroyed them in ways you can't even imagine. Because being a king wasn't just about crowns and thrones. It was about waking up every single day knowing someone in your own family was sharpening a knife with your name on it. The year is 1483, and there's a 12-year-old boy standing in a stone tower in London, staring out at a kingdom that's supposed to be his. His name is Edward V, King of England. Except he's not really king anymore, is he? His uncle made sure of that. And in a few weeks, maybe days, no one will ever see Edward again. He'll vanish. Just gone. Erased like he never existed. That's what power does when you're born into it, but too young to hold it. It eats you alive before you even learn to fight back. But let's rewind. Let's talk about what everyone thought being king actually meant. The fantasy. The lie. Because every single person who wasn't royal spent their entire lives imagining it. The gold. The feasts. The servants who die for you. The ability to do whatever you wanted, whenever you wanted, to whoever you wanted. Absolute freedom. Absolute power. That's the dream, right? That's what they sold you. What they still sell you. But here's the thing they didn't mention in the fairy tales. The moment you put on that crown, you stop being a person. You become a target. A symbol. A thing people either worship or destroy, and sometimes both at the same time. Take Louis XVI, King of France. Seemed like a decent guy, honestly. Loved making locks. Yeah, locks. Intricate little mechanisms that clicked into place. It calmed him. Gave him control over something, anything, in a world where everyone else was trying to control him. But France didn't want a locksmith. They wanted a god. And when he couldn't be that, when he couldn't stop the hunger and the rage boiling in the streets, they dragged him to a guillotine and made him kneel. 20,000 people watched his head roll into a basket. They cheered, celebrated, not because he was evil, but because he was king. And sometimes that's enough. You think you'd be different though, don't you? You think if you had that power, you'd use it right. You'd be the good one, the just one, the one history remembers fondly. That's what they all thought too. Every single one of them. There's a Roman emperor named Caligula, and he's standing on a beach screaming at the ocean. Not metaphorically, literally screaming. He's ordered his soldiers, thousands of them, to stab their swords into the waves, to attack the sea itself. Because Caligula didn't just want to be king. He wanted to be more. He wanted to humiliate the gods. He wanted Neptune to bow. And when you have that much power, when no one can say no, reality stops meaning anything. You don't go insane. You just stop pretending sanity matters. But here's what's wild. Caligula didn't start that way. He was loved, adored even. When he first became emperor, Rome threw parties. People wept with joy. Finally, they thought, a young, energetic leader who'd bring Rome back to glory. And for a few months, he did. He was generous, kind. He gave money to the people, through games, rebuilt temples. Everyone thought he was the one. And then his sister died. Some say it broke him. Others say it freed him. Because after that, he stopped caring what anyone thought. He declared himself a god, made his horse a senator, killed people for fun, for sport, for the way they looked at him. Power didn't corrupt him. It revealed him. Wait. Stop here for a second. I need to ask you something real. If you had the power to do whatever you wanted, with no consequences, no one to stop you, would you still be you? Or would you become something else entirely? If that question hit you, drop a comment. Just write, I felt this. Because when you do, someone else will realize they're not alone. And that matters. Now let's talk about the ones who didn't go mad. The ones who stayed sane. Because somehow that's even worse. There's a king in medieval Europe. Doesn't matter which one. They all blur together after a while. And he's sitting in his throne room, listening to a mother beg. Her son stole a loaf of bread. He's 14. The punishment is death. That's the law. The king has the power to change it, to save this kid, to show mercy. And he doesn't. Not because he's cruel, but because if he saves one, he has to save them all. And if he saves them all, the system collapses. So he nods, and the boy hangs, and the mother screams, and the king goes back to his chambers and eats dinner like nothing happened. Because that's the job. That's what no one tells you. Being king doesn't mean you get to be good. It means you have to choose between being good and being king. And most of the time, you can't be both. Then there's the loneliness, the suffocating, crushing loneliness that no amount of gold or servants or lovers can ever fix. Because everyone around you wants something. Your advisors want influence. Your generals want war. Your family wants your throne. Even your friends, if you're lucky enough to still call them that, even they see you as a tool, a means to an end. You can't trust anyone. Not your wife. Not your children. Not the person who pours your wine or tucks you in at night. Every smile hides a knife. Every compliment hides ambition. You live in a palace full of people, and you are completely, utterly alone. Ivan the Terrible knew this. He got so paranoid he created a secret police force just to watch everyone else. He'd torture people in his basement, personally, just to make sure they weren't plotting against him. And guess what? They were. Of course they were. Because that's what happens when you're king. You become so terrifying that people have no choice but to try and kill you. Because staying loyal is just as dangerous as betraying you. Ivan even killed his own son in a fit of rage. Smashed his skull with a metal rod. And when he realized what he'd done, when his son's blood was still wet on his hands, he collapsed, sobbed, begged God for forgiveness. But the boy was still dead, and Ivan was still king, and nothing changed. You start to realize it's a cage. A golden, jewel-encrusted cage that everyone outside wants to break into and everyone inside wants to escape. But you can't. Because if you step down, if you walk away, someone worse takes your place. Always. Someone crueler. Someone weaker. Someone who'll burn the kingdom to ash just to prove they can. So you stay. You endure. You become the monster, because if you don't, a worse monster will. And that's the trap. That's the real crown. Not the metal on your head. The weight in your chest that never, ever goes away. There's a Chinese emperor who tried to escape it. He faked his own death, shaved his head, dressed like a monk, and wandered into a village to live as a normal man. And for a few days, it was beautiful. He ate simple food. He laughed with strangers. He felt human again. But then someone recognized him. And the moment they did, everything changed. People fell to their knees. They stopped seeing him. They saw the crown, even when he wasn't wearing it. Even when he tried to take it off. Because once you're king, you never stop being king. Not in their eyes. Not in your own. If stories like this one hit you deeper than they should, if you crave the truth that history tried to bury, then you belong here. Subscribe before the next secret burns its way out. And then there's the ending. The one they all share, no matter how powerful they were. Because every king dies. And most of them die badly. Poisoned. Stabbed, beheaded, forgotten, their statues torn down, their names cursed, the people who once worshipped them dancing on their graves. Because the thing about being king is that you're never allowed to just be human. You're either a god or a tyrant, a hero or a villain, and history doesn't do nuance. It doesn't care that you were tired, that you were scared, that you were just trying to survive. It only remembers the blood. So, yeah. Everyone wanted to be king, until they became one, until they realized the crown doesn't make you powerful. It makes you a prisoner, a sacrifice, a ghost wearing a mask of gold, pretending to be alive while the world slowly, inevitably, tears you apart. You think you'd never be like them. But maybe that's exactly what they thought, right before the crown touched their head and the nightmare began.